it was told to me that he would get me a chair and a dew if I would come give the sermon. So he told me I had to get at least one drink. And I think you know this, my wife is not as in love with this habit as I am. And she's wishing that I'll spell it on the sermon and wipe it out. That's what she says. That is her wish for me today. But thanks for having me today. I'm Randy Draper, and I've been a member of Faith about 15 years. I'm a retired teacher. I still coach. I coach at Grain Valley High School, tennis and both, and girls basketball. And Michelle and I have been working with the youth for about 6 years. Today, my message is about our opportunity to be the light in the world for somebody. And one of the things I think, and I hope for you today in coaching, we talk all the time, with teams about passion and purpose. And I heard Shauna mentioned it today, but we talk about passion and purpose. And I hope today for you, I hope that I'll make you think about and maybe help clarify yours. And sometimes I think you'll be surprised. You've already got it going. You just didn't know it. And I was watching people that have gifts play today, and I got you a gift. I turned my mic off when I was singing. You don't have to get me anything. That was my gift to you. The good thing about Michelle is, as I was writing this, I practice. The font got bigger every time I practiced. That font got bigger. I told her pretty soon it's going to be a 1 word a page for me to see this. But I appreciate her a great deal. Our main scripture today is Matthew 5:14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Michelle knows when we were doing this, the city built on a hill, in some versions, is the town built on a hill. I don't like that as much. I like the city when she goes, well, you can't mix versions. I said, yes, I can. I said, I'm the one sitting up here today. So we're going with the city on a hill. But we are meant to be beacons of spiritual light. Now, I love these verses. I told Pastor Mike, I seem drawn to the ones that give me a really strong mental picture and very visual to me. And the last time I spoke, the topic was relentless joy. And I'm always drawn to the power of the word joy and what it conjures up. Happy is good. Joy is different. And when I think of city on the hill, I see that. In Jesus' time, many walls around the cities were made from white limestone, which made them easier to see from a distance. You can see the lighting of the lamp in the visual. You can visualize that, and that's why it's easy for me to be drawn to it. When the hill is mentioned, it reminds me of my longtime friend, Mike, who happens to be Coach Herbert's dad. We would go watch basketball games a long time ago. And we would go watch basketball games in smaller towns. And long before Google Maps, we would just get to the town and figure it out. And, that was our approach. And our rule was if there's a hill, you go to the top of it in that town, because that's where the school was located almost all the time. Strangely, we were often right with this brilliant approach. The top of the hill has always been important. The word light is used several hundred times in the Bible. John 8:12, when Jesus spoke again to the people, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. In Ephesians 5:8, for you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. When you read Matthew 5:14 through 16, the scripture says to let your light shine before others and see your great deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Our job is to help others and maybe ourselves see the Lord through us and the works we have done. It's going to come down to using gifts, some of which we don't even know we have, and we have to help others see and feel the Lord's presence. When I speak in front of others, I always remember Mrs. Hemphill. She's the speech teacher that got through to me. I went to summer school speech classes when I was in elementary for extra work. I was in the class during the school year. My parents were told that I might not ever speak where I could be understood. Now, some of my players might still question whether it has worked. But one summer, it got through. And it changed what I do. I speak in front of people all the time. She was impactful in my life. And she used a gift that she had, and it changed mine. Another person I give credit to when it comes to being a light in my life is a former player from a previous school. I have no question this young man impacted me, getting back to church, and affected the way I live my life. The way he lives, the way his parents live, he's still an important person in our life. He and his family had been missionaries in the Philippines, and they're the first ones to ask us to go to church, and they did multiple times, and we went multiple times. Our pastors encourage us to invite people to church, and it's that very action that got us going back to church a long time ago. In basketball, we talk about leadership, and really in all walks of life. What I have found is there are vocal leaders and there are those who lead by example. Some do both. But I have found it can be hard for people to be corrected by their peers. The people that correct others and lead others verbally have to be beyond reproach and effort. Those players that usually are never critical. They are lead by example people. The way they carry themselves, they move people because others are watching. If you turn, and that's the same way in everyday life. People are watching, and I will tell you, if you turn the light on, you don't have to tell anybody. They'll see it. So our job is to turn the light on, light the path for someone else. There's a lot of ways to light the path. I want to share some ways our church represents a light. There are several ministries or local organizations that you can be involved in, and our church is. You're familiar with Face Work with the Back Snacks program. This program provides weekend food for children and youth in Grain Valley, students who are food insecure. Although Faith has been the driving force with this ministry by purchasing food and helping pack the back snacks each week during the school year, the community has noticed. And the importance of this need and is now financially supporting this program as much or more than our church. The light is on. Another ministry of faith is the Good People Cafe, which Pastor just talked about. I started to realize the impact of this before it ever opened when some people came up to me and asked me where I go to church. And I told them Faith, and they said, that's the church that is starting the Good People Cafe. And I said, yes, it is. He goes, they said, we think that is the coolest idea, the coolest place. The light is on. When you visit the cafe, you will see their story at the top of the menu. I'll share it with you. Good People Cafe will exist to create a place, a passion, and a purpose for all people through a cafe atmosphere that intentionally employs members of the local disability community to provide a stepping stone into the food service industry, a safe hangout spot for local teens, and houses a new worship alternative to the traditional church. The Good People Cafe can become a beacon for other communities as they try to emulate. There are a lot of opportunities to be the light through our church. And I want to talk about Lazarus Ministries KC, where members of our church have been going for many years. The mission of Lazarus Ministries is to offer unlimited compassion while providing for the unmet needs of Kansas City's urban core. During a Saturday event, guests visit the boutique for household items, personal hygiene needs, and clothing. They are provided a hot meal, and personal health services are provided by the UMKC medical students. Many of you have donated household and clothing items, which are taken almost monthly by some women of our church. Everything that gets donated has value to someone. I know that men's shoes are always needed. I know that the boutique is stocked to give as many options as possible to guests. The receiver most assuredly doesn't know who donated the needed items, but they are grateful that you have made a huge impact in their life, yet they don't know who you are, but you are obviously wildly important to them. I know that there are a lot of grateful hearts. I get to see those as they receive. When we volunteered at Lazarus Table a few weeks ago, with some of our youth and adults from our church, I was struck by the difference in the people who had been there multiple times and the people who were making their first visit. The confidence or comfort level is quite different for someone visiting for the first time. There are many unknowns. Once they arrive, they know there is a boutique where they can get some needed items, but also an opportunity to eat a hot meal. The guests must know when to go to the boutique, where to sign in, where to wait, but don't want to miss that meal. We have to convince them they're not going to miss that meal as they go take care of other needs. They're in different parts of the church. You get to see all of that, and you see that it really matters. I don't think we've done anything that impacts me as much as serving at Lazarus Table. I think in a lot of ways, and Pastor pointed it out to me, he goes, that's where the light shines from me. I always go in thinking I'm going to impact someone else. The impact is always on me. Although Lazarus Table has moved locations, the need has not changed through the years. Many of you have heard of harvesters and various volunteering opportunities they offer, sometimes within our church groups, but also as individuals. Lazarus Table gets a lot of food from harvesters. That's what serves it. So even if you're not serving at Lazarus Table, you may be touching the same person, just on the other end. Grain Valley Assistance Council, GVAC, is another entity that is helped by support from you. GVAC accepts food and clothing donations to give to individuals and families in the Grain Valley community. And each month there's a section in our church news leader. I have said news leader in every practice. That's the Springfield newspaper, just in case you need to know. The newsletter to GVAC that lists types of donations needed for that month. Adults and youth have shopped for families at Christmas for many years. Our youth have taken responsibility as GVAC gives us Christmas lists for a family with children and youth. It makes it personal for our youth when they get to shop for others close to their age. And there's a lot of buy-in with that. If you've ever had the opportunity to deliver donations on a Wednesday morning, you'll see members of Faith volunteering. Recently, our church helped a church member move boxes and other items to her garage in preparation for a move. This took just a few minutes of our youth time. but it had a big impact for her. I'm having back surgery soon. And a friend offered his son up for free lawn mowing after surgery. I don't know if his son knew he was being offered up to be the light, but it sure meant a lot to me. I already had it covered, but I was grateful that it was offered. When we talk about helping people, we sometimes try to judge the importance of what we're doing, and we lessen the importance. We might believe that what we're doing is not a big deal. What I'm encouraging you to do is just do it. And someone else can judge the importance of it. I will share a time when Michelle, we were having a discussion. She thought something we do at Christmas time was trivial to the groups. And we have multiple groups that have cookie decorating as a tradition. One of ours is our high school girls basketball team. It's the contest gets judged by former players. When we weren't able to when they were in college, we had former players doing it by text, pictures over the phone. This year, the three freshmen, they came to the house to be the judges. Our youth, we got back to it this year, but our youth, this year we had 3 to be engineers, a to be doctor, and a guy leading them that's good at badminton. You know, there's some drop off in the group with the leader, but they help. We had gone away from that because of COVID. We couldn't get them together, and we couldn't do things together. And you know, at that time, you remember, we were worried about wiping out seasons. It was interesting. So we had to stay apart. And the last that group that was freshmen became seniors 2 years ago, and I had talked to Michelle about maybe starting the tradition back up. She goes, I just don't think it's that important to them. I don't think you need to do it. And I said, okay. Well, we go. It's senior night, and our tradition of senior night is for every group, every senior, to talk about a senior memory that they take with them. Well, one of the senior memories that year was when they were a freshman, going to Coach Draper's house and decorating the Christmas cookies as a team. That was on the senior show. That gets announced in front of everybody. So we go home that night and she looks at me, okay, I get it. And I said, okay, all right. Well, this year it came back, and it was funny. Again, one of the seniors' memories was the cookie decorating at our house. And our youth group is the same. So I would encourage you, don't spend time trying to say, is it important? Isn't? Just do it. If it's for someone, if it brings joy to someone, just do it, and you'll figure it out. And the one thing I would like to brag on our youth judges this year, youth alumni judges, we call them celebrity judges. They will be. They came up with a mathematical equation to determine the winner. And I'm saying, this is at a level I don't belong. But it was grateful. But the one thing I would say, Jesus needs people to say yes. He still does. He needed people. He still does. One of the things I told our son when he took a new job was to say yes. One thing you know about school districts, we have a lot of people in the school districts. There are a lot of things going on. There are activities that require supervision, sponsors, there's concessions, there's tickets. There's so many things that need help. And they need you to say yes. And I said, there's so many ways to be impactful. I told him, you can make yourself irreplaceable. And Jesus needs people to say yes. I was thinking, just how powerful would it be to be irreplaceable with Jesus? Be the light for someone else. If you have a question, what you can do, My father, also a longtime high school basketball coach, we're not a creative family, always said when you're putting together a team, the best at something always plays. They don't always start, but they always play. Your best ball handler, your best defender, your best rebounder, your best shooter. That's how teams are made. God can use a lot of different skill sets. So I urge you to say yes. Let's light the way for ourselves and others, and let's meet at the top of the hill.